Hi, everybody. Hey. Hi.
So you know we're being recorded.
Yes. Okay. They can hear us on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alexander Vincent, and I am the chairman for the Black Alumni Association. So thank you all for coming out tonight.
We probably need to turn the light on so they can see us.
To our Q&A session.
I was saying we might need to turn the lights on if they need to see us.
I think they just came our share screen.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good.
Okay. So we are actually going to just start the event off real simple. We're gonna play a game. So everybody, if you have your phone, raise your phone. Everybody has a phone in here, right? Okay, so we are going to play a game just to kind of test your knowledge of what you already may or may not know about the Black Alumni Association.
I'm gonna win this.
So whoever wins the game will win a gift card.
I can't play.
I don't think your father should play.
Okay. My bad.
I don't think that's fair. I think you should just, I don't think your father should play this game.
So go ahead and take your phones out, and you should be able to scan the screen, and you should be able to pull up the game screen. It's gonna actually enter a game code. Yeah, so Jackie, go ahead and switch your screen. So if you are a Black Alumni member, you cannot play. You know the answer.
No longer doing it.
So, if you are a Black Alumni member, do not play.
Can you put it again?
Yes, we'll put it on in a second. Give me a second. Okay, so. Okay. So right at the top, you can go ahead and scan the QR code, or you can go on your browser, play.booklet.com. You enter the game code at the top, this 2377 number, and you should be able to join the game. Once you enter your name, it should appear on the screen. There we go. Got somebody up there, beat. Yeah. Okay. All right, Abby, you. If you are a Black Alumni member, you are not allowed to play. Y'all know the answer. So that's
Right.
that's definitely an answer. Yes, exactly. Any Black Alumni members, you cannot play the game. If anybody didn't get any food, feel free to come down, grab some sandwich, some chips, some drinks.
And we got enough for people to come back for seconds. So
Don't be shy about one. Because they don't know.
y'all just trying to be cute.
Right. So, I believe the game is 8 questions. And the object of this game is to, 1, get the correct answer, but B, the person that answered the fastest. So it scores you on how fast you answered and if your answer was correct. Okay, we got 10 people. Anybody else waiting to join? Going once, going twice. Everybody good? Everybody who wants to play has joined, and the winner of this game does win a gift card.
Oh my goodness.
That's when you
You might not know all of them. Get along with the notebook.
Yeah, okay, so the winner of this game is a $20 gift card to Starbucks.
won't do it.
Just so y'all know what y'all playing for, the stakes out right now. Okay. Everybody join who wants to join. All right, we are officially starting the game. Hey.
I know this one.
I don't even know the answer.
That's it.
Alright, so when was the Black Alumni Association founded? Let's see who knows the answer.
You lost.
Me?
Okay, 73% of people in here know the
April
answer.
16. Yes, I got it.
April 16, that's correct
Free.
Yeah, cool. We ain't gotta take it.
It's the Black Alumni Association, a nonprofit.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Let's see. Okay, wait, no, there's no answer there, I see. Yes. Okay, good answer, yes. The Black Alumni Association is a nonprofit. You got knocked off the scoreboard real quick. Alright, question number 3. True or false, is the Black Alumni Association funded by UNF Alumni Association? So the answer is false. Let's see who's in the running. Who is Janet Jackson? Raise your hand.
Already?
Oh,
What? She's not where she cheated.
Yeah, she. Oh, I thought I was saying. Okay. Who are the founding members of the Black Alumni Association? See, I'm gonna have to read
one of those is hilarious.
Who are the founding members of the Black Alumni
Wow.
Hey man, who's gonna pick? Who's the person that picked me?
There are 4 founding members, guys. Okay.
I wanna know who the person is who picked just me.
What year did the Black Alumni Association become a nonprofit?
I might get that wrong. Good talk. Run together.
So, you was there with it happened.
All right, the answer was 2022.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, was it different?
I don't remember. Whatever the paperwork was filed. I think it
It was
was.
found. Who's it got? No, but it was.
Yep.
Who is the current Black Alumni Chairman?
That better not let this go. That's gonna be embarrassing.
Don't do it. That phone. Don't do that.
Right, we should have put Cam.
Question 7. How many current or former BAA members are part of UNF Alumni Board Association Board? I'm sorry. So we're going to keep the answer. The answer is 5. Yeah. That's the question. All right. This is the final question. The 8th and final question. Janet Jackson is in the running, whoever you are. Who raised their hand for Janet Jackson?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, no. She was the very first one, right?
Yep.
First 2.
All right, so here are our final standings. So who is the winner? Janet Jackson.
She can't get the same day.
No, she was Janet Jackson.
Who's Jay?
I'm serious.
Okay, let's go to second.
Yeah, she wasn't joking.
She was
Who's the second person?
Jay.
Hold on, what was the max amount of points? Cause that means she got something wrong.
Yes, you did.
Uh-oh.
On purpose.
That's what she says. Like, no, for real, like towards the end, like I started picking it on purpose. I was like, ooh, I might win this. You go ahead, Jay.
Okay, so now that we see where everybody is, we kind of tested like their general knowledge of BAA. We're gonna get into a little bit more about us and who we are. And to start us off, we'll call Brent up here. Just talk about how we started this whole thing and we got here to where we are today.
You make weird, stop.
Oh, wait.
Get another person new.
Hi.
All right, guys. Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming out tonight. My name is Brandon Jacobs. I am the current president of the advisory council for the UNF Black Alumni Association. Just for clarification purposes for folks who may not understand, okay, well, what does that mean? The advisory council oversees the nonprofit organization, which also oversees the General Black Alumni Association and its board. So Alex is the person who handles the day-to-day affairs. I handle overseeing the nonprofit. You know, you guys can ask questions about those things later and we can get more in depth. But essentially, the very as quick as we can be, founding of the Black Alumni Association started a little bit before April 16th. There was a post on social media, mostly about what can we do to reinvigorate Greek life. Greek life was dying on UNF campus. You had 1 or 2 members being brought in on a yearly basis, so it was a really trying time. And obviously, a large portion of the Black and brown demographic typically transitioned into some version of Greek life during their tenure at UNF. So we're trying to figure out a way, how do we reinvigorate that? Those conversations on that post, which ended up having 60-something comments and things like that, and a lot of them were really engaged with it, transitioned us to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and move this to a group. We moved it to a group meeting. The group meeting got too large. It's not really an effective way to communicate the kinds of things that we were trying to communicate. So we transitioned to our private Facebook group, which many of you are already in. And if you're not, you can go to unfblackalumni.com, click the link. Just say when you're about to graduate or if you've already graduated, and we'll add you to that. But from there, we said, okay, well, we want to put on some sort of event, you know, for Black and brown people. When's the best time to do it? We said, okay, well, we'll do it during homecoming that following year. So that's where you get the April 16th, the April 16th, 2016 date from, because that is when myself, IK, Jonathan Free, who was in the back of the room, and Shanette Sparks gathered together to try to organize a team together of about, what was it, like 10, 11 people, something like that, to try to organize an event that would take place for that homecoming in 2017. At that point, I really didn't have plans on being as involved as I am now. As a matter of fact, I helped organize the original team, and I said, okay, you guys, do your thing. I'll just check in with you guys. And then it was like November or December, I checked back in and nobody had really organized anything. And so that's when, you know, I hit Pre up. I said, we got to figure this out. And so we made a couple phone calls, got a club night event together, organized the original tailgate in Lot 18. And we just went from there, and we had brunch at Seasons 52. We didn't expect as many people to come out as did. We were pleasantly surprised. It was in the hundreds the first year in 2017 when we had the first Black Alumni Weekend, and we were floored by it. We're proud of the work that we've done since that time. We've evolved over the years. fostering our relationship with the Alumni Association, building a relationship of trust with them through re-administration. We originally Jennifer Perkins and then Michelle McGrill, and now
Victoria Hoff.
yeah, Victoria Hoff. And so we're really proud of the work that we've done. Getting the nonprofit was huge for us, especially in this time that we're currently in. And Victoria has said as much. Right now, we're in a situation where with the House Bill 999, we were unsure of, okay, what's the future gonna look like with our working relationship with the Alumni Association? When we speak on things that are diversity and inclusion, will we be in a predicament to where they say, well, we can no longer, rent spaces for you? Because in essence, that's paying for a space, and in paying for a space, that creates an environment to where they could potentially get in trouble with the state for basically paying for a space for us to speak about diversity and inclusion, but House Bill 999 does not want you to do those types of things. So we really focused in on creating a space to where we have our own finances. A lot of that is due to all of you and the contributions that you make. A lot of that has been because of organizations like Iota Phi Theta and the Good Health Wins Initiative, and just a variety of other partners here in the city of Jacksonville. I probably will share later, as I'm sure some people will have questions about finances and things like that, some of the stuff that we're doing to increase and bolster that finance, and that's going to happen hopefully this weekend and into next week, because I'm going to San Diego to meet with the Walton family in hopes of trying to get us more funding that will sustain us for years to come. So that is the general story. Am I missing anything? Are there any gaps? Priya, is there any gaps?
No, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. All right. There you go.
So now that Brandon kind of covered the road of how we got where we are today, we're just gonna go on to the next slide and talk a little bit about our mission. Is my head in the way?
Well, not right now.
There's 3 screens. All right, just making sure. So the BAA's mission is to basically serve you all. We are here to serve students, and we're also here to serve the alumni. So we are basically kind of the middleman to be able to provide a voice for what students may want on campus, as well as providing a voice for different things that Black and brown alumni want to see happen, whether that's on campus or in the community. We're here as a resource. So some of that might look like, us helping out with the housing crisis, or some of that might look like us doing networking events in the community to bring together former alumni back to the campus, kind of just keep that connection with UNF and with fellow Ospreys. Okay, so this is just different ways that we are here for you. So as undergraduate students, we're a connecting point. So we want people to see us as a connecting point for future networking purposes. You never know, people in the Black alumni, we come from different backgrounds, different spaces. There's always opportunities to connect, to build your network, meet new people, job opportunities, and much more. We are here as advocates to be a voice for the issues on campus that impact marginalized students. And we're also just here for support. So Brandon talked a little bit about the House bill that's currently going around, being a voice and being able to say, hey, we're here to help support you in any way that we can. If there are on-campus organizations who are hosting events and they want to collaborate with us, we are also open to that as well. So for our alumni, kind of the same thing. Like, we're here as a connecting point just to keep you connected to the campus, to the community, let you know different things that are still relevant and going on. Also, just promoting like other alumni who are active in the community, different achievements, awards that they have received, and just promoting them, the good things that Ospreys are doing, and also just for outreach and volunteer opportunities as well. Okay, so here is what we are, just to provide a little bit of clarity so that people understand exactly a little bit more of our key points. So one, we are a nonprofit organization. We're here as a networking resource. We are here as community advocates. We are champions for the Black experience of marginalized students on campus. And we are also a safe space for students. So sometimes students may not feel comfortable voicing their opinions, or they may not feel like they're getting the support or being heard. That's what we're here for, to help become that voice and push that message out.
Real quick, just to provide a little bit of perspective on a couple of the things that have been discussed. Can you go back real quick? Oh, you're already there. The networking resource. I'm gonna use some examples. AJ, for example, granted she's on our board, but AJ's about to graduate. We're really proud of her for that. She obviously needed some help with her resume. So having that resource and being able to have a conversation with me, we were able to make some tweaks to her resume that I think she's happy with, and that we're able to move her forward in that regard. As far as champions of the Black experience or a safe space for students and alumni of color, about, I'd say 2 years ago, Diamond Fisher came to me about some challenges that she was having with a professor on campus. And I stepped in as an advocate and had meetings with the professor and her to kind of be an intermediary to ensure that there was fairness and equity. So we will go that far when necessary to provide that support for you guys. So I just want to give some clear examples of what we've done.
And here are all the things that we are not. So we are not a Greek organization. We are not funded by UNF. We are not only focused on parties. We are not controlled by one person. And we are not necessarily in competition with the Alumni Association, but it's more or less of us building that partnership and building that trust, as Brent mentioned earlier. And also, we are not trying to keep anyone out of our circle as far as joining or being a member or participating. It's open. If you go to our website, you're more than welcome to see the different positions that are open. If you have questions, you are free to email us, or even tonight, that's why we're here. If you guys have questions, we want to be able to provide you with answers and make ourselves available for the opportunity to connect. Okay, so now we're going to meet more of our members. We do have a handful of Black alumni members in the room. So if you're in here and I'm probably going to stand up and introduce yourself. So you guys have met Brandon. You already know who he is. So this is our advisory council. But you already met Brandon. Oh, you walk right there. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know what he was doing.
Jonathan.
One person I know. All right, I'm Jonathan Johnson. I am also one of the founders and on the advisory board. I'm one of few words because Brandon is a man of so many, so I don't have to speak as much. It's very good for me. And yes, so everything that was said, we are glad to be here and be a resource for you guys. And hopefully you guys will continue our path forward and help us grow and expand.
Okay. We also have Jasmine Cheney here as well.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Cheney. I'm a member of the council, and I'm also Beyonce of the PA.
Okay, and then we also have Danielle Coleman with us.
Hello, y'all. I'm Danielle Coleman. I graduated in fall 2016 with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in sociology. I am currently a teacher, and the reason why I joined the BAA, I felt like UNF gave me a lot of experiences in life, like changing moments, and I wanted to continue that for other undergrads by providing service in my time and my dedication.
All right, so next we have our executive board. So you guys met me. I'm Alex Benson. I'm the chairman. I graduated from UNF in 2012. And I have been a part of Black Alumni Association since 2021. The reason that I joined, actually I started as a photographer, something I love to do, but I jumped in a little bit more because I saw the potential for growth and I saw the heart behind the mission of what the BAA was for, and I just wanted to help kind of further that and grow the organization. So that's why I'm here. So Alvin, I think he's on Zoom. Oh, look, there's Alvin.
Hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Yes.
I live in Atlanta, so I couldn't be with you guys, but I'm there in spirit. My name is Alvin Floyd. I'm the vice chairman for the BAA. Majoring in business at UNF. I'm a retirement advisor here in the state of Georgia for cities and counties. And I joined BAA because I saw the vision from Brandon, from Jonathan, and things that they wanted to do moving forward. I wanted to be a part of helping it grow. I always wanted to foster a sense of home for Black and Brown students as they go throughout their undergraduate process and then matriculate on and become alumni. I want them to be able to say, hey, I'm going to come back home, because I always have that. Living in Atlanta, I always want to make sure I can shoot back to Jacksonville and see the people that, you know, I went to school with, and then those that came after. So that's why I joined the BAA, and thank you guys for coming, even though I couldn't be there. It's great to hear you guys.
Thank you, Alvin. And now, who else is on there? Tanique, oh, I'm sorry, Jasmine. Jasmine with us tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Rowland. Because obviously there's two Jasmine, so there's Beyonce, I'm Kelly. I'm not Michelle because I will not fall down the stairs. I'm Jasmine Roberts. I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology with a minor in social welfare during COVID. So I was one of the first classes that came out in fall of 2020. I survived. I did not die. Why did I join BAA? Because I was given a foundation here at UNF that some of my other friends did not get to experience. And so sensing Brandon's vision and just really taking on his vision and seeing how I could express what was given to me here at the Nest to other people that look just like me that may not have had that same opportunity. So it's a pleasure to see you all. Most of you I know, most of you I don't know, except for that man over there.
And we also have Tennille Charles, who is our director of marketing. She is not able to be here tonight, but she's part of our executive board. Now we're gonna go into our general board members, and we have a couple of them here with us tonight. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the names, and if you are here, stand up and introduce yourself. So we have Neil Bay, Dana Johnson, Desmond Smalls, Jacqueline Simmons, who helped me out very much tonight.
Oh, that's your part.
And then went and found Tennille.
Oh, y'all did it for me. Oh, no. My name is Tennille. I'm the director of marketing for UNF Black Alumni. So yeah, I do all of the things that you see on social media. I do the TikToks, the Instagram, and not the Twitter, that's all Alex. But yeah, so all of the new innovative things that you've been seeing on the TikTok and the Instagram and whatnot, that's been me. The visuals, me, Black Alumni shirts, all of that stuff. So if you're interested, get with me. Because we definitely need help with those.
Yeah, we need to put it.
Close the door with me.
Now back to Jocelyn, who's been a great help tonight. I graduated, I'm here with my bachelor's in 2018 in communications and my master's in 2020, and then I worked in private business. And I joined the BAA because I wanted to give back to students who look like me, so they helped me out when I was a student.
So we helped you out? Oh, okay, just
Okay, and then we have Stephanie Jacob, she's here with us tonight.
What's that inches for me?
Hello, I'm Stephanie Jacobs. I am the communications lead. The reason why I joined in the BAA, I was bullied, honestly. I was bullied into it. I really was. But essentially, I do all the, well, not all, but like a good chunk of the editing as far as like the newsletters and any like written communication that goes out to make sure that.
Shout out stuff for the captions, cause I showed on the list.
Hey, thank you, Sean. But yeah, just making sure that everything looks in order. That's it. Oh yeah, I graduated in 2015.
And then we have Keontae in here, there we go, she's our undergrad rep.
Hey, everybody, my name is Keontae McClendon. I'm the undergraduate manager for BA. I joined BA because Brandon found me. I was like, he found me and was like, I actually applied to be support staff. And he was like, you know, that's not for you. And I was like, why not? It's just a start. And he's like, no, I want you to be undergraduate manager. I was like, okay, I'll take a stab at it. So basically what I do is take care of y'all. I listen to y'all and I make sure the board knows that y'all are different events. So like the Q&A thing we came up with just because of the fact of we want you guys to be more involved with us, and then we want to do more events besides like homecoming week, and I graduated in May.
So, right. We got people in the So we have Nico, who's not able to be with us tonight, and then we have AJ.
Who also graduated.
Great,
Stand up.
I'm AJ, I took this really good into this position. Yeah, it's like a crazy.
Looks like a trend.
Yeah, it was a trend, it was just rallying the troops, and I guess I actually joined. I assist with the marketing as well, so social media, I also get feedback on anything that you see on campus, so any of the flyers and campus stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just here wherever they need me. That's it.
Shout out you.
Alright, and then our last two people, we have Nelson McCoy, who is not able to make it tonight, and then Edith Delhome, who is not able to make it. Okay, so now, to the actual Q&A part. So we can do this one of two ways. Does anybody have a question and they want to raise their hand? That's fine. Or have index cards if you don't feel comfortable asking questions out loud. You can pass those out.
Let's pass them out to ensure that everybody has, at least has one.
Where's the pens at, Brent?
What you mean? You said the pens.
Does everybody have a pen, need a pen? Okay, so as those are being passed out, is there anybody who just openly want to ask a question? Okay. So your name?
Sammy. So this is from something that was set up. Does it matter that you're just.
The question was, does it matter what year the student is in order for them to be the undergraduate rep?
No. Out of curiosity.
No, it does not matter. Because as long as you're undergraduate, you are our ears to the ground, ears to the street.
I got picked up when I was a junior.
Yeah, this could be like on the website.
Okay, so his other question to this guy is, he asked, does he have to go on the website and apply for this position? So currently, this position has not technically been posted because she hasn't graduated yet, but keep your eyes open, and if you are interested, then you can reach out to us and say we'll be going out on the website, and you'll be able to apply for that position. So, but I will say the person who is an undergrad rep has to be someone who is active. They are willing to talk to the students, make themselves known, let people know what we have going on, and also be willing to be the voice for the students. So if the student says something to you, you have to be able to communicate that to us so that we can take the proper action to be the resource. Okay? Any other questions?
I'm asking a question for the people.
Okay.
How can one join the BAA?
That's good.
Or rather, how can one become? No, how can one?
On the presentation.
How can one become part of leadership? There we go.
I'll take it. that you can become a part of our team. One, if you're in this room tonight, and you have any interest, you had like 6, 7, 8 of us in here, just say, hey, I'm interested. That's number one. 2, you can email us, it's on our website. Also on the website, I do think like a couple of the positions are listed. I think there's treasurer and I think there's a Twitter person listed. So if you're interested in actually like holding a position, you can go online and apply for that. I will say if you're looking to actually have a title position, that may require a little bit more conversation. And we can kind of work with you on that. We just want to make sure that people who are holding positions that they are able to make the commitment to kind of do the work to keep the things going forward. How else can I, am I missing something?
Well, the first thing that I wanted to say is we have to take ownership, and I take responsibility for that we have not necessarily been as good as we could be on responding because we're not short-staffed, but you're dealing with a bunch of people who are doing this for free. And so we've got daytime jobs, so sometimes there's a delay in response. So we will take ownership of that piece of it. That is something that we all need to work on. Having said that, some of the other ways to kind of engage with us, obviously, like I mentioned, is that private Facebook group, which the link is on the website. You can okay? That's probably one way to really get access to us. Obviously the DM on Instagram. Instagram is probably our biggest social media platform. That's something that Tennille's gonna see it, I'm gonna see it, Alex is gonna see it because we all have the Instagram on our phones. So we're likely to see any communication that you send out that way. Also, current board members are in the process of building subcommittees for certain things that they do. So it may not be a situation where you're, the communications lead per se, but maybe the communications lead wants you to oversee the editing for Instagram. That's an opportunity as well. So, and then that's a less of an ask because we recognize that the lift that we ask of a lot of our board members is significant. I don't want to make it seem like all of this stuff is easy because it's not. It's time laboring and very challenging. But those are some of the ways that I think are best to communicate with us. Primarily Instagram because so many people are looking at it. Join that Facebook group because it's kind of like an all-encompassing place where everybody meets at. We will make more of a conscious effort to check in on the emails because I want to recognize that is something that folks have expressed an issue with us, our responsiveness, and we need to do better.
Any other questions?
All right, so boom. So what are like some events that y'all trying to get into, like more events besides partnering? Like y'all trying to do community service events? Like what type of events do you have for the future?
So more events like this one, just more events to make ourselves known on campus, whether that's like more networking or actually I think some of that will involve us kind of like, you guys tell us what kind of events would you like to see from us? How would you like for us, be present on campus? Neil?
Oh, I was gonna add to that because I'm like I'm big on trying to bridge the gap between Black alumni and those who are already on campus, so undergraduates with alumni. So the events that we've been trying to like bring up off the ground aside from Black Alumni Weekend have been events like this, and we're kind of trying to be intentional with the events that we have. But the thing is like, it's just also like having the groundwork to do it. So like having someone that's actively on campus who can also push these events because like this is a good start, but if we're gonna like plan year round for these events, because like people come in droves for our partying events, but then when we post about like having a community service or my village project, we don't have that much engagement. So like we have been trying to be intentional with everything that we've done because I think from the beginning of this semester up until now, we've had several community services, but it's just like trying to get people to jump on the bandwagon. So like I think we're going to intentionally put into like, further in further meetings how we can bridge that gap between us being on campus. Because again, like Brandon said, like we all have like jobs or whatever that take up our time, but aside from that, like we do Black alumni, like, you know, free. So we're still trying to figure out to that balance, like who can get off of work and actually come up here and be on campus and actually see you guys, aside from the undergraduate representative, which I have been talking, we've talked about the undergraduate ambassadors, like just having like, we have a team. So having like a undergraduate representative, and then under that representative, having like ambassadors that are throughout campus, so that we are hitting our spots where we're supposed to.
Yeah.
So if that answers your question, so.
And then just to piggyback on that, to provide some perspective, and then I'm gonna jump in on a lot of stuff because, you know, being the person for 6.5 years, you kind of have a bit more insight. So there may be some things that Alex doesn't know that I know because of history. Also keep in mind that we came out of a situation trying to self-finance ourselves, right? Well, how do we finance ourselves prior to being a 501c3 and being able to go to community leaders and say, hey, we're putting on events, would you like to sponsor us? We're a nonprofit organization, it's tax deductible. So prior to that, so before 2022, how are we going to generate revenue in order to continue to have events? Well, obviously, that was gonna come out of the parties. So we really had to focus in on trying to have the best social events possible so that we could generate revenue to continue to exist. That is changing as time goes on. That's, as I mentioned, this trip to San Diego, trying to get financing to sustain us long-term. Our new partnerships with a lot of the sponsors. If you guys were at Black Alumni Weekend this past year, you know, things like some of the vendors that we had out there and things like that. That's a byproduct of having sponsors now that say, yeah, we want to support what you guys are doing. So here you go out and go be great and do good work. So as we continue to get funding from My Village Project, which we're appreciative to them, as we continue our partnership with Good Health Wins, and hopefully get some more sponsors, that creates a space for us to not have to stress so much about doing parties to sustain ourselves.
And the other thing is like, just aside from the parties, like not only to like essentially create revenue, but we also kind of needed some type of buy-in because this was a brand new concept. So of course you have more people that are more likely to come out to a social event than to do a community service. Not to say the community service isn't important, but that's usually going to be the draw, especially for our alumni who are, you know, they're out of town or they're only available on weekends versus, you know, people who are local who would be available to do community service projects, but, you know, they may have other obligations like, you know, families, kids, what have you. So, I mean, do we do community service projects? Absolutely. It's just that more often than not, they get overshadowed by the social things that we do. So they're definitely there.
Yeah, so I was gonna say too, like, I think as we work on doing more, what did you say? Community service events, sorry, got a brain fart. As we work on doing more of those, I think our goal is to be more intentional about inviting more of you all to participate in that with us, because this is your community too. And it's also an opportunity again for y'all to just connect with us, see the real people everyday type of thing. And the other thing I do want to add to what everybody else has said, that the on-campus organizations, if there are events that you all are hosting and you need us to partner with you, or you would like us to be a part of that in some way, I think that would be another way that we can contribute to something else besides the party. So.
What, like, I know that you guys are asking us for ideas, but for collaborating with undergraduate organizations on campus, what events do you guys most likely want to see in collaboration with, like, for example, BSU and Black Alumni Association? What do you guys see?
So as somebody who sat on the e-board for BSU and now sitting on Black Alumni, like when I first got to UNF, those were like in full effect. We collabed on like most of like the yearly events. You're on the e-board, right? So like on those yearly events at one point, those were BSU Black Alumni would collab on. And so I think just with time and then not now being post-COVID, I think that's where the the severing of the relationship has came where it comes to events. So in a sense, like, I think any event that you guys, like BSU puts on, I don't think that we will be, you know, opposed to it, because at the end of the day, like, it's a pipeline. So from UNF BSU to UNF Black alumni, like, we are still open arms to POC. So like, whatever event that BSU wants to put on and invite Black alumni to do, like, that's for us. So like the Black Excellence Expo, like, we already do our Black alumni awards. So like, even if we were to combine on that at the end of the spring semester to close out the whole year, or even, excuse me, like the y'all did a gala, right? The Black.
Yeah, Black
Excellence,
yeah. It was, that was like the theme for it, but it was still the award ceremony.
Okay, and then even if we were to do like the pink tie fair that y'all did like 2 years ago, like, even if, so even if we did those type of events and brought back alumni, or even if y'all wanted to do a panel discussion, that was something that was really big, because we offered the alumni to come and sit in on your discussions and whatnot, or we can do a networking, like, we can collab for Black Alumni Weekend and do a networking forum. So then now that closes out the gaps of what we need for our networking forum, because I know at the end of, just to be transparent, I don't know if you guys want to be transparent like that, like, for our networking forum this this year, we were like trying to find undergrads, like, we were scrambling to find undergrads at the school that we're alumni to, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get undergrads to come to a networking forum when we literally had like shameless plugs for jobs, for people to network with. And it was like, well, we showed, like, alumni who already had jobs showed up in droves, and then we were trying to like look for undergrads to be like, well, who's gonna get this knowledge? Because a lot of people who did come, like, they were like, Dr. Wynn was amazing, and he dropped a lot of gems, and so were other panelists. So it's like, you know, we can combine on those things that could be essential for undergrads.
We had to provide some context even there, we had a man fly in from Mexico as a director of Amazon, and sitting in the back of the room, and, you know, folks didn't engage really. And so that's the biggest challenge, is that we recognize, like, nothing's lost on me as far as, hey, I want to go to the concert and all that kind of stuff. And that's the reason why we moved it from that day. We switched it around to not be in conflict with the concert. So now at that point, it's sort of like it's on you guys to engage with it, because we're trying to do whatever we can to provide that space for you guys. So, you know.
Okay, Jasmine, you want to add something? Or no?
Yeah. I would say, as far as like piggybacking off of what Neil was saying, not to I would say curate your events. So not saying that we want to come to the Pink Tide Fair, but we don't want to come to it. We want to make sure you also focus. I know a lot with being on the board and then having ran some of the organizations before. You want to make sure that you're still doing those educational events. So things like that you need help with. So those Heritage Months, Black History Month, really making that keen eye on that. Those volunteer events that you're having. Sometimes it's hard to get support from that. The Alumni Association, the Black Alumni Association, we can support with those kinds of events, because again, like it was said, a lot of us are available on the weekends, and some of us don't mind going to the beach to clean up too. And that can also be an opportunity to connect one another, like we said before. So I would say, try when you're talking to them. It's not so much as the expos and the galas, but those educational components that you do, especially when you look in the beginning when the semester does start. You know, you're heavy on we're doing this informational event, we're doing this informational event. So if you need our support, even if it's just like those shameless plugs, let us know. But again, I will say, in all honesty, while we do love to do those shameless plugs, we still want your support as well, because we're out here really trying to provide those very things that you guys want to see. But like Tennille said, we had a whole lot going on at the networking forum. But then students will say, well, we don't do this, we don't do that. Well, y'all don't have this. Yes, we do. We do have it. So we just want y'all to be encouraged in the sense of, come out. If you know it's an educational event, let us know. Don't let us know the day of, but give us enough time so that we can reach out to the people so they can support you. So that when we get to homecoming weekend, it's a mutual feeling and no one's lost. And that can also help you in terms of, for example, when you get to the tailgate. Sometimes students and student organizations have trouble trying to survive at the tailgate. So create that relationship with us. So in other words, you scratch our backs, we'll scratch your back in the sense.
We got this young lady who had been present.
Hi, I just thought of an idea, like, I know you guys are talking about networking. Is there like, a way that we can kind of like make it to where, since everybody like has different majors, if, I don't know, like a weekly, maybe not a weekly, maybe like a monthly thing about like a subsection about like, here's help on how to get through this major, or like what courses you should take and like who you should run away from, you know, like.
Do you think that should be
mentoring
like a
type of stuff.
social media post, or do you want that to be like a
Or like
in-person?
person.
Yeah, like a
She said
in-person.
in person, so.
Also like a mentorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you saying that is kind of like a perfect idea, because it's something that we have been trying to segue into. One of like building a mentorship program where you can have somebody to be with like more often or more frequently, like one-on-one meetings to kind of guide you through that. But also in essence of maybe, you know, we need to do some research ourselves, guys, and say, let's bring in those people who are the experts on those specific subjects, and then hosting something where students can come and kind of gather their information for themselves and have the opportunity to like interact. So that's a great idea, something that we could usually work on.
Perhaps a monthly podcast?
That sound dope. Cause then I mean, I won't be here. Like I'll be back home, like Lauderdale, so I would
Some
like to
version
still
of
be
that,
like.
you know.
Or some version of that.
Yeah, we had a clubhouse in the middle of COVID when everybody was sitting home. Like, it was my grand idea to like, hey, can we make a Black Alumni Clubhouse? And so like, we were gonna go episode by episode, but like, we got lost into COVID and whatnot. So like, yeah, I mean, the podcast may be in the works, so. Yeah, we just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the biggest gap y'all have between the Black alumni and student undergraduates?
What's the biggest gap?
Activity.
Of getting y'all to come to stuff like this.
Yeah.
I guess it
Activity.
brings the social stuff of like letting y'all know, hey, this is available and like we're here. So I think that's our biggest gap. Anybody else?
I think productivity and activity just in general, because I mean, it's only so much we can do. Like, we can share posts all day, we can make posts all day, we can keep giving, like, we can have these incentives where we do like a door prize, or we're spending money and we're constantly giving, but then we don't have anyone to come take. And that's the thing. So like, I know with the biggest transition being trying to go into being a nonprofit and also not being the Greeky Black alumni who always throws Black Alumni Weekend where everybody come party and drink and have fun, into like a alumni association where people come to these events. Like we're trying to operate as if we are the UNF Alumni Association, but for Black and brown students. And the thing is, like, we don't have that productivity and activity from undergraduates that we would want. Like, we try to like cater to our alumni while also catering to those who are local with us, because most of us on the board are local. And so like, we try to bring you guys in with like the most exciting things, because I promise you, like, it doesn't go unnoticed. Like, for the people who are young, we can speak on being in the group chat and telling them like, yeah, your idea is not working. Like, we want it for like the undergrads like this now. Like, this is something that's new. Like, for me, like, they can fight me on it, but like, I'm like, undergrads like brunch. And I'm like, undergrads like brunch, we need to do a brunch. And everybody's like, well, we don't want to be like already Black alumni. And I'm like, a brunch, but like substance. So yes. And so it's kind of like that. So like, we try to find things that are very informational for you all, but like, we just kind of need that, like, the push is to like hop on the train of being like active with us. Cause like we always put the information out there. Sometimes we overshare information. We put out a lot of information at one time and then we like, you know, we flood the socials and we flood everything that we can as much as we like have to so that you guys see it and then, you know.
That additionally to our biggest misconception is that just because you're undergrad, you can't participate. You definitely participate. I've been in BAA for the last 2 years.
No, baby, longer.
No.
2.5. Surrounding, and that's all been my undergraduate years. Definitely join. And also to another misconception is that you have to be Greek in order to join. You don't have to be Greek and just, you know, coincidentally are, most of us are. But that relationship is just completely outside of BAA. That has nothing to do with anything. And that you can literally join BAA, you can join anything that has anything to do with Black or brown on campus. It wouldn't affect us or anything because most of the time it's the same because we all want to be
Really a family.
I would say having more stuff like this and like having you guys in the room, that also helps you guys tell us too, like what's missing. So we can only see so much, like Keontae can only tell us so much, but when we have y'all in the room, this is a great opportunity. If you see something that's missing, like, hey, we would like to have this, or hey, can you help with that? Perfect opportunity.
Honestly, I would probably say we just need to be more in their face in general.
There we go.
That's exactly what, so I've been at UNF for 2 years. I'm not sure exactly how I found out about the BAA. It was in passing through another something, I don't remember what it was. And I'm like, what? This is at UNF? UNF got this? Is this real? So I'm like, I'm checking it. And I think I found the Instagram. And I'm like, okay, maybe it is real. I don't know how active you are on campus. I don't remember seeing anything about this organization on campus or association on campus. So, yeah, so it's like, I think you got out more. But another thing was, I don't have Facebook. And you guys spoke a lot about connecting on Facebook. If I don't have a Facebook, I do have Instagram and I am connected on Instagram, but it seems like you put a lot more, it sounds like you put a lot more of your information on Facebook. Is that true?
So I think it's a mixture. It's on Facebook and it's on Instagram. I would just say Instagram is more active because that's where a lot of our audience is about. But if you give us your email, we do have a newsletter that goes out with that information as well. So that's another way that you're on the news.
Yeah. Well, once I found out, I'm like, I want to know more.
So
The reason for the Facebook group is probably the biggest platform is where the original demo started at. You gotta keep in mind that like the core demo, you're talking about, the core demo is about 1,200 people. And of that 1,200 people, probably safe to say 900 of that core audience is somewhere between the ages of 28 and now 42. Because you gotta keep in mind, right? 42 goes 7 years back. You know what I mean? So you gotta keep in mind. So we have a tendency to be able to kind of drop a large amount of information on a platform that is more commonplace for that demo. So that's the reason why that Facebook group is so important. Instagram is becoming the more important one.
But I think it's the same amount of information. Like I think between me and Jocelyn, whatever I share on Instagram, it goes to the Facebook. So it's about the same amount of information. I mean, like, you're like, if you're on Instagram, you're right where you need to be. Like honestly, because I try to do as much as I can on Instagram. I think me, Alex, and Brandon try to post as much as we can on Instagram and try to get out the cool visuals so it's catching your eye, but also the long captions. So yeah.
Steph, you wanted to jump in. I'm sorry.
No, you said everything I was gonna say.
I was gonna say the other thing too is that I've tried to be more intentional about like it's kind of work with AJ. I'm not on campus to see the flyers and the posters or the digital stuff, but I'm trusting that AJ puts that stuff out. So I don't know how often you're on campus or where these things are posted.
If it's on a TV slide, that was me.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's something we could try to work on, but at this point, I feel like we are using all the avenues that we have. The only other thing I can think of is like kind of working to build that undergrad team of ambassadors so that we have more people kind of like.
And we working on being in y'all face.
Yes.
We need a street team. Every market wins.
Posing a question to the audience. Okay, would y'all want to see something like a quarterly Q&A session?
Yeah.
Something so that way that we're able, so at least 4 times out the year, we're meeting with you all to say, okay, hey, what's going on? Let's discuss this. So kind of taking an idea of how hot topics is a thing with ESU, but giving you that safe space. So like, the whole house bill situation, if somebody needed that space to talk about it, because for obvious reasons, sometimes you can't really say what you want to say in certain organizations. But allowing that opportunity, okay, well, what do you want to see? What do you want to see happening? What do you want to see? Well, not just hot topics wise, but still an avenue to say, okay, what is something that's happening within the undergraduate community of Black and brown people like UNF that you want us to cover? Oh, well, a lot of us are graduating and we don't have no jobs. Okay, BAA can know that, and we can know how to effectively work. Okay, so we can say, hey, we're putting on this, here's information on how you can connect to a future employer, or if you're like, we need volunteer hours.
Yeah,
Resume building, we can know to put on the event, so that way we're not, in the sense, just coming out and oversharing, like Neil said, we're just oversharing things that actually really don't matter to y'all. We can actually hit it more on the head and really get into what you guys, first what you need and then what you want to see.
And then also like y'all could be the first to know the information in the forums, cause like we're rolling out scholarships and we have all this money to give, but like nobody's jumping on the train. Like I know when the housing situation happened, like we were literally trying to track down undergrads to give this money for housing. Like when everybody went without, like I think 300 plus students that were Black and brown went without housing. We collected money and we didn't have anyone to give the money to because we were trying to find avenues. We were going through the university and looking at like, hey, do you have any students that could use this money? And then we had some people come to us and seek us out for the money, but then we still have leftover funds. And it was just like, well, we collected this money for the undergrads, how, like, where are they? So, yeah.
So if you all have any ideas tonight that you want to share, let us know, either write on a note card, leave with us. Those are things that we can take back with us and do some brainstorming in order to get some things pushed out to you all. So more than welcome.
Any questions from anybody who's on the?
Oh yeah, are there any questions in the chat? Okay. Do you have any other questions or any other ideas, any thoughts, anything?
It's fine. Let's go. We have y'all.
Well, for one, for the networking event, because a lot of people, I feel like as an undergrad, a lot of people, well, for me, let me speak for myself. I don't know how to network. I'm very like closed off in a sense. So I wrote down like a how to network event to teach people like how to create their elevator pitch and how to like be open to speaking with people that can get you connections, because me, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna make it far because I don't like talking to people. So I had a network event would be great. I was also thinking the first GGM that BSU would have Black alumni can introduce themselves. Because the first GGM is where we see the most people come out. So that could be
Summer B or?
Oh no, in the fall.
Okay.
In the fall.
Y'all are
Just I don't know what the theme is for yet. We haven't started in our term, but we send out all through that.
Okay, is this something that you guys have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are y'all?
You send us the dates and we'll be there. They used to send them, and that around COVID kind of slowed down. So the engagement sort of ended on both sides, but
So are
you send us
y'all?
the dates, we'll be there.
So have y'all programmed for Summer B? Because I think that may give us the most free time. Well, I know I may be like intentionally free during the summer because I do work like for the school system. So like I may be free during the summer, so like I can place myself in those positions to be like Black alumni, like the face here. So also like anything that you have for summer B, I mean like, you know, pool party cool, but like if y'all have something that y'all actually are doing as far as like informational wise, cause I know like most of your students come in the like summer B, like some students matriculate in the summer B, and they come back in the fall, full effect.
And then the last thing I wrote is just for Black alumni, Market Wednesday, the first Market Wednesday of the year, like those are the first events of the year is mainly where a lot of the students pop out and then they just start trickling down from there. So I was saying a Market Wednesday table would be a great opportunity.
So that's something that we
were there last year.
We definitely have
We
tried
got
that,
it.
but yeah.
Our free will be there.
Yeah.
That's great. Good. I gotta remember.
Like a place either on campus or elsewhere to where we like ask questions to anybody who needs it.
Yeah, right, that's something else that we have been trying to work on, is getting office space here, but that's in the works. We have to kind of get that discussion going again. But currently, we do not have office space per se, but Justin, you okay? Huh? Okay, so.
Second floor, right?
Talk to Jocelyn, she's on campus currently.
Or Mr. Mark.
Or
Just Mr.
Yeah, or Mark Harris, so Mark Harris is connected to us as
Oh,
well,
y'all
so.
think it's still Mr. Mark.
It works with Jocelyn.
That's my prep, bro.
So, yeah.
We're not allowed to call
Um,
Really? I think yeah, you see, Mark.
Well,
I guess he was in her
much more personal, but if you get her information, AJ.
He calls that nigga Mark, that's his name, his mama named him Mark.
I'm not opposed to that, like, you can use my personal whatever to ask me any questions about Black alumni, I don't have a problem giving information.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anything in our inbox, just send it,
Right.
especially on Instagram.
And I'm everywhere, so you
Yeah.
just grab me when you got a question.
Yeah, Brandon gonna definitely keep you there for a couple of hours, so movie snacks and popcorn, but you're definitely gonna finish with a lot of information.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I don't know about the rest of the members, but if you come to me personally, you say, hey, Alex, push number, email, we're gonna look, if you have a question about Black alumni, I'm fine with that.
Most of y'all are already on Instagram.
Yeah.
So most of the information that we, I guess, need, is on Instagram or social media?
Yeah, so it's also on our website too, so like, the emails on our website, all the social stuff is obviously on our website and on there. So, I mean, I would say the website and social media is kind of your starting point, and we can't physically get to one of us.
Oh, I was gonna say, I googled a little bit of the My Village project, but like how, like, do you guys help out specifically with the My Village project?
All right, so that's me.
Get ready, guys.
Okay, young lady here asked the question, what is My Village? My Village project is kind of a partnering organization for multiple nonprofits here in the city of Jacksonville. They were able to get the initial funding of about $1 million from Walmart. And in doing so, Walmart said, hey, you know the city of Jacksonville better than we do. Here's $1 million. Distribute that how you see fit to the organizations in the city of Jacksonville that are doing good work in whatever way that they're doing. And then the first year, Ronnie King, who was also an alum from UNL, he distributed that money predominantly to the MPHC because he knew those groups because he's an Omega. From there, the MPHC organizations provided him perspective on other nonprofits doing good work in the city of Jacksonville, under Black Men, which he was also president of, and others. So from there, he distributed those funds out to other organizations. Their core function, what they primarily focus in on, is education and attendance. We have a startlingly low number of students attending school. They're, for whatever reason, they're not going to school. The pandemic has impacted that even more so, and students are supposed to have gone back and just aren't. And so they primarily focus on elementary school, but they do focus on middle and high. Just encouraging kids to attend school, be present, be engaged, that sort of thing. And in doing so, they provide them like these gift baskets to give away for accomplishing all of that. And then they also do an awards banquet where they take these giant poster pictures, these beautiful pictures, and then they give other gifts and things like that too. They also have us make phone calls to parents, follow up, how are things going with your child, this sort of thing. So as far as what we as an organization do, we make sure that we're out at certain events that we're assigned to attend. So Becoming Collegiate Academy, we were there for the start of that school on behalf of the My Village Project. We've also had events at Ribault Middle. And so we've gone a couple of times. I was back at My Village in January. So that's primarily what their focus is on education and attendance.
At the farm?
No, that was JU. That's something different. So that's primarily what they do. Was there another part of that question?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else?
Sammy, did you have another question?
So if anybody else wants Justin's card, but I gave it to you three, that has her office number in the building, so you.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's building and room number. I told her to try to make it building and room number. So if you happen to be on campus and you like, hey Johnson, are you here?
So that building 42, room 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so it's almost 8:30, so we have like a couple more slides of like upcoming things that we just want to talk to y'all about really quick, and then we'll do our 2 giveaways. We have 2 giveaways left. So one of the main reasons that we are here tonight is actually it's kind of leading up to our founding day. So Brandon kind of talked about it in the beginning. April 16th was kind of like when everything kind of started and it began. And every year we try to just kind of like honor that day, celebrate that day that we're here and that we are continuing to grow and expand the organization. So this year, one of our things is trying to get people to not only just show up for us, but we need money. So we can do more stuff like this. But just getting people to donate to we have a new fund, Everything Black Fund, which essentially will be here to kind of help students with housing assistance and also a portion of it to create what's called a Black commencement. So basically it's like, Black and brown graduation for UNF seniors, specifically just in a space that kind of speaks to them, celebrates them in a unique and special way. So that is what we are kind of raising money for. Our goal is to raise $2,016. You can donate $5. Don't think that because you're a student or whatever that you have to donate a certain amount. We appreciate all of it.
We'll take it all. Them brown boys still stand.
At the end of the day, it all adds up, and we just appreciate the donation. Or if you just tell other people, say, hey, they have this fund, because essentially it's going to help you all. So we just kind of want to push the word out and have you guys know that we're accepting donations. This is the fund that we are working towards, and we want to be able to do these things for students on campus. So that's that. And then I think the slide after this is the scholarship slide. So, are you ready?
All right. Yeah, there you go.
That was next.
Especially this one, right? All right. So you guys can kind of look at the picture and you kind of get the gist of where this started. That is my father, Willie Jacobs. My father passed away May 11th of last year from Alzheimer's. And my family and I were trying to figure out a way to keep his memory alive and celebrate him in a special way. We originally thought about directing the creation of a scholarship to Florida A&M, where my dad graduated from. But then we settled on UNF primarily because my sister, who my father was her hero. My sister graduated from UNF in building construction and engineering from here. And so we focused in on UNF, and initially we were going to start to create an endowment here But again, not to keep hammering that home, the House Bill 999 issue makes us want to distance ourselves from partnering with the endowment with the university. And so right now, we're in a really great position. I'm proud to say that right now, we're at about $3,400 in funds generated for that scholarship fund. That funds that scholarship for the next 3 years at $1,000 scholarship each year. So we're happy about that. And it's primarily focused on students majoring in the field of construction and engineering. So folks who are over in that department, this is funding for students of color that are in that field. You guys can read what the requirements are. You can go to our website and apply or pass this on to someone else. And just to talk a little bit more about scholarships in general, if you guys want to see other scholarships, if Nana had some stuff that she really did in life and you want us to celebrate your Nana, we're looking to create other scholarships as well. So you can reach out to us on that too. And we're excited to create more diverse scholarships in other departments and other fields. So.
Alright, thank you. So now I have 2 giveaways left for tonight. So the first one, I'm gonna give away to the person who came first.
The Babbitt Scholarship.
Tell me next. Shanique was the first one here, y'all, so I'm gonna give her the
Way to be on time.
Now, this next one, is that this number?
What?
The registration list, does it have numbers?
It does not.
What are you doing? Okay. Oh, all right, so this last good part, you don't have to generate updates.
I don't, but I know who we need to get at that too. Yeah, I know somebody.
Me.
Ah, 3 p.m. Okay.
Just saying, like.
So Jasmine. Okay, so Frank brought up a good point. And we appreciate everybody being here. We're glad to see all your faces, but we have noticed that there has been one person that has been coming to a lot of our events and supporting us. So we just want to appreciate him because he's in the room.
And he just donated too.
Hey, and he donated. Thank you very much. Hello. How you doing? So, thank you guys again for coming out. You have the room till at 9.
Please eat food, take the folder, the little information things, take those with you.
If y'all need some information, contact information, we're here.
If you want to talk more about what the plans are, you can get some snacks and you can come to me and we can hold you up for the next 45 minutes on what I'm planning on doing.
I have questions for the undergrads. So, since one of the things that we are trying to plan for is this Black commencement, because y'all know, well, I mean, because y'all graduated, but like, the regular commencement, it's very basic, it's very simple. They give you all of 10, 15 tickets. 5.
They went down, it used to be 6 last year. It was 6 last year. It was 6 last year.
When the black percentage was 7%.
It was 6 last year.
All right.
So basically, y'all only get like 2 tickets.
Yeah.
So, normally us, we like to be extra with the balloons, the air horns, the signs, all of that. So I'm trying to find out from the undergraduate perspective, what would you all like to see in a Black commencement? Because me, I'm thinking like Sylvester Ratchet Baccalaureate, but I don't know. Because y'all might want some different stuff. Because I mean, normally when people graduate, we do barbecues, we do crab boils, we do that type of function. But we just guessing.
Can I tell you what I was missing from mine?
What?
So
Some cookies?
My bad, y'all. So I graduated last year, May of 2022, and I feel like what was missing from my graduation was I felt like I did so much on campus, but I got so little recognition at graduation for it. And that's I think that's a big thing, like what you do in college is a very big thing, like, yeah, they didn't care that I was a part of a Black Greek letter organization. Or if I wasn't an honors grad, but I still had the GPA to be an honor grad. And I felt like I got like a court from, you know, the Office of Diversity Initiatives, but you know, like I felt like I should have been recognized some way, shape, or form of what I've done, like a award, like, you know, I don't know, just something big.
Yeah.
But like not too big.
Like a stove, but like
Like, you know, like maybe a little stole, maybe a little cord. You know, you said a little ratchet, so like even if our friends was able to like not hold the applause.
For real.
Oh, we ain't holding applause now.
Oh, no.
We're gonna let them ride.
Because that's a big thing, being a person of color graduating from a PWI and not being able to celebrate. And like during the graduation, like, what you mean I can't do a backflip off the stage and land on my eyebrows and spin on my head? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't work too hard for this. I don't woke up too early for these classes. It's so like,
oh, shoot. They know what I mean. They know what I'm talking about.
take your time.
Who needs my contact information? Where y'all leave? Should work. Should work.
Way more important. Your Jimmy John's sandwich is way more important.
Hi, can we get a group picture of people who still left here?
What are you trying to do? Are you asking what does it take to be a part of it? Because being Black and graduated makes you a part of the Black Alumni Association. So it's only clear on that. Now, if you're asking about how to do the work, like you want to participate in programming and developing that, it really is a matter of just having a conversation about where's the fit in, and does it make more sense for you to be a board member or a member of like a subcommittee? Like if your bandwidth doesn't allow for you to be like, I'm gonna be a meeting,